All right. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm with Mr. Abir Mazumdar, founder of Idea Factory. Um, the agenda of our discussion today is to get some interesting details about the book that Abir has authored. It's called The Thought Leadership in India. Earlier, we have seen Abir gave some interesting details about the book with one of the best-selling authors in India, Mr. Som Batla. Today, we are going to dive deep into the details of the book and get some juicy, interesting facts about how it's been done and how best can we relate to the current situation with that book from Aber himself. All right, so let's get down to the discussion. Hello, Aber. How are you?
Hello, Richard. It's good to have a discussion on the book. We had one discussion some time back, and maybe here we can talk a bit more in detail about the book.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about it. All right. So to begin with, why don't you just give us a brief outline of your book, Aber?
The book has been titled "Thought Leadership in India" and
Mhm.
has come out in 2019, and has been in the system in 2020 in the COVID times. The
Mhm.
book is actually a book of ideas, wherein which actually it's a large part of it is a reflection of my experience of 15 years in the corporates, where I have seen a lot of corporate situations and being fortunate enough to be in the strategy space in the corporate. I have a strived to a lot of good things in organizations, and in addition to it, there were a lot of perspectives or ideas that used to come to me. And then while I was writing the book, I was also studying the economy and the business landscape during that period. And a lot of thoughts and ideas have been captured in the book. The book is actually kind of a starting point of my new journey after I left my job, and encapsulates a lot of futuristic ideas which might help the economy, the industry, the corporate professional, and everyone at large.
Wonderful. I mean, indeed, I have read the book and it's been quite incredible for me. There were a lot of incredible insights that are quite useful for many businesses now and even before. I think it is a timeless sort of way that we have given out how to ideate and how to make use of our knowledge and implement those in our day-to-day economy. So I really found that quite useful to me. And I was just curious to understand why have you titled the book The Thought Leadership in India? Would you please elaborate on that?
The title actually has been an imagination that was coming to me because I was dealing with ideas, and most of these ideas are strategic and long term, which will take a while for
Mhm.
them to show results.
Mhm.
But it starts from the mind and then it gets implemented. So it is with that aspect I put it up as the word called thought leadership, because it starts from the mind, and these ideas, if readers like these ideas, they would find a place in the economy or in the business landscape. So leadership in the form of ideas, I thought that could be a good name. And not only for the first book, this I thought as a long term name, so that all the other books that I'm planning in the near future will be on this concept of thought leadership, wherein a lot of futuristic ideas will be discussed. So it's like a concept that will be built from book to book.
Great, glad to know. And I know there are a lot of ideas discussed in this book. And could you, in a nutshell, tell me what is the message that is conveyed to government, corporates, and startups in this book?
In the book, I have actually highlighted the power of ideas to improve or uplift the economy.
Mhm.
The ideas that touch upon on the economic aspects, the government aspects, the safety aspects of people, the policies elements of it, and then going to the business, the emerging technologies, the focus, the national prerogatives that we have, going to the aspect of case studies of corporates, and also to the aspect of, uh, you know, studying, giving some ideas to the corporate professional. So, in a nutshell, these are all long-term ideas which will
Mhm.
take, and these are kind of can help anybody in the professional world who has his own set of ideas. These ideas will actually add up or strengthening his own state, and he can actually redirect his life, or the company can redirect itself in certain good areas. So this is a humble attempt from my side to, put in some thoughts to the economy.
Incredible. And how do you think that this book will impact the world going forward?
I realized while I was working that a lot of ideas, it was coming freely to me, and some of these ideas are very impactful. Like if you have, and not only me, it's not that ideas have actually changed the world, right?
Right.
While there are many people who have been working on several ideas, there are some ideas that have clicked, and
Mhm.
these ideas have actually changed the world. So I'm sure there is a relentless effort in innovation and ideas in
Mhm.
different corners of the world, and we are enjoying the benefits of some of many of these ideas. Okay, so as consumers, we have enjoyed the benefits. So at some point, the table turns, and we want to be producers of a certain thing where the other world can be consumers. So maybe this is a humble attempt in trying to be a producer or being the starting force of
Mhm.
something new and changing and impactful to the outside world.
Yes, I totally agree with on that. As a reader myself, I found that many ideas that are discussed in the book quite thought-provoking, and that led to many more ideas. So I think that way it's going to be a great uh, treasure to the world, I would say. And we have told that there are many ideas. I mean, we have talked about many incredible ideas and for the economy, and even to the nitty-gritty details of how to change every detail, say for infrastructure to IT to many things that you have discussed there. But could you tell us what are the top five ideas that you found most interesting in that book?
First of all, I am not the person to rank my ideas. Okay, these are
Uh,
my ideas, so the
mhm,
world will actually rank the
mhm,
ideas. So these are I cannot rank. These are a plate full of ideas. It is for the reader to decide which idea they like. So there is no one size that fits all.
yeah.
Okay. Having said that,
Mhm,
there are certain ideas which I felt are quite impactful and may,
mhm,
affect. The starting point of this is definitely the economy. It was the government that was talking about a $5 trillion economy,
mhm,
and that was a goal that was supposed to happen in 2024. And these are pre-COVID figures. After COVID, I think they might shift for a year, but I took that as a starting point because as a country, if you have a goal of a 5 year goal, and then you have a blueprint or a roadmap for working that out, so that was a starting point. And with whatever ideas I've given, that could be some of them could definitely be a contributor to the $5 trillion economy that we are talking about. On top of that, there's the second idea that I felt about the budgetary exercise that happens every year.
yeah.
Only very recently there has been that, we have had our budget this year. And this is a very impactful session where the whole business community stops and tries to understand what sense it makes to them in the long term goal. I feel the budget is a very important topic to work upon, and since I worked in the corporate, I feel the budget can be a multi-year approach, which means that a budgetary exercise should look at it. That's a unique exercise, and it should look at the economy for a longer period of time.
Mm,
So it could be follow that 1+4 model, which means the first 1 year could be a firm plan, and the next 4 years could be a rolling plan, which could be a give a very strategic or a long-term aspect for the economy, because economy doesn't change overnight. Until and
yeah.
unless you have long-term plans, you won't see the results.
Mhm,
That being another idea. A third idea, I felt that at the lower end of the society, we have a lot of things happening on by the agricultural people. We are also seeing a lot of things of the migrant workers that happen. So there's a large strata of the society which don't have jobs, and they are floating around
Yeah.
on as we are pushing them as self-employed guys, giving a tag which kind of appears to me that we are kind of shirking our responsibility of give them some security in the form of a job. So
Hmm.
maybe we can look at a job creation model where the lowest rung of the society, which has not been able to be touched by job because they are not qualified, they are not educated. But this could be a good, approach to put them into a stable economy. Okay, and a lot of these agony that we are seeing in the form of the agricultural people that we are seeing
Hmm.
today can be taken away if they have a stable income, and if they have stability around and they can give their expertise, which also means that we will have to modernize these lowest rung, which means that we have to like in terms of organic farming, or converting them into an organized sector. So there has to be the industry that has to play its part. The agricultural guy has anyway been contributing to the growth of the economy, so that can be a good element of it. Other than that, I have a dream. I feel education is a very powerful tool for the economy, and
Hmm.
we have a very powerful talent within the country. And it is my dream to see that people educated here should be able to get jobs across the world, which means that if you get, it has to be a stamp that has to be recognized across the world. Okay, which till now it's always the foreign degrees that are of more value to us than our Indian degrees. But tomorrow we want to place the education sector, we have to raise the education sector in such a situation wherein people studying here should be able to work anywhere. So it will be a global pool of talent, but you have provided you can study in India.
Hmm.
Another aspect that I can talk about, there have been a lot of national initiatives that were being discussed by the during the time I was writing my book. It was the Make in India. They were talking of Swachh Bharat. They were talking of Teach India, and most of these plans have actually not been very successful. Okay,
Hmm.
there is a lot to cover on that, which means manufacturing sector in terms of cleanliness that we have to have here. These are plans that have been launched by the government, but they are long term plans. I see a lot of potential in some of these ideas that we can take forward, like the COVID-19 has actually strengthened the fact that Swachh Bharat is so very important for us. So cleanliness and hygiene, immunity, they are all now a part of the same package, and we can add a great value to the whole aspect of it. I think there are several such ideas towards the.
Hmm.
There are opportunities to build a stable economy. I think as India grows or prospers, we are seeing a lot of instability in the jobs. Today,
Yeah.
people have jobs. Tomorrow, they don't. It has become a reality. Even in as people are becoming more
Hmm.
professional, the personal lives are not stable anymore. So both
Right.
personally and professionally, people are losing their balance. And until
Hmm.
and unless we put in some effort to stabilize the economy, people will not be able to contribute meaningfully to the growth of the economy. That has always been an important part. And perhaps one more point that I want to say is that a lot of in the economic value add, or EVA, or the
Hmm.
GDP measure, whatever we measure as the economic output or the indicator of the country, we do not take into factor the unpaid work. In
Right.
lockdown, many of us, we have done a lot of unpaid work, and we realize the importance of unpaid work to go to the paid work. So there
Hmm.
is has to be some economic value that has to be added to the unpaid work, because that also contributes to the economy. But since no money is exchanged, we don't get to see the part of it. So maybe we suggest there could be a revised model of an EVA, or a economic measure which
Hmm.
takes into factor all the elements of the economy. And of course, there are other ideas also that have been discussed in the book.
That's true. Yeah, very true indeed. Yeah. I'm just spellbound by whatever that you have discussed. Quite interesting. And okay, there are several ideas, and you have given us some of the ideas that are on top of your mind. But generally, the biggest challenge when it comes to idea generation and such companies is that implementation part. So, from your perspective, could you share us how can these ideas be taken forward?
That is the most interesting part of the whole process, because the ideas, until and unless they get implemented and until and unless we
Hmm.
see results, the
Yeah.
success of the idea cannot be imagined. So the first question that you had asked, like top 5 ideas, it will never be complete if we don't see the implementation. So
Hmm.
towards that, I think while the book does the thinking job, there are two
Hmm.
startups that I have created
Okay.
to engage with the world
Hmm.
and to see how some of these ideas can get implemented in the real world. So while we open these startups, we also realize that the book is just a starting point of the discussion that we can have with corporates on ideas. And once we start engaging, it will be a free flow of ideas between the corporates to us. And this
Hmm.
hopefully will bring enable us to go deeper into the ideation or the innovation part of the country,
Hmm.
and hopefully we can play a larger role in it. So we actually have designed it in such a way that not only we think, but we also implement and deliver, and also show it to the outside world that some of these are going to get implemented, and that again creates a cycle of thoughts. While we give these ideas, better and better ideas come back to us, and that comes out as cycle of thoughts.
Incredible. I'm sure that the idea factory and the learning hall, that the two startups that you have created, are already paving the way for taking those ideas into reality. And yeah.
Yes, a little bit more about the startups. Yeah, I have touched upon my startups in the first video. Let me tell you a bit more about
Okay.
what they are. The Idea Factory is the implementation. It takes one step forward, the concept from the book. The Idea Factory is, as the name suggests, it's a book on idea. It's a company of ideas which offers strategic solutions and is a training and a consulting firm that we have planned. And we hope that this will give us an opportunity to implement some of our ideas to the outside world. This will also enable us to engage in a proper dialogue, as I've told you in the first one, and
Okay.
to gradually build an ecosystem of ideas with corporates, with stakeholders, with customers, and with our thinking platform. So Idea Factory is a great vehicle for us to implement
Right.
ideas in the real world. In the same way, the learning hall has been created to be a player in the academic field. It's like an edtech startup. It's an academic startup as of now. Hopefully, we will
Mm-hmm.
be able to grow it as an edtech so that it can reach out to larger organization, larger people, and makes some difference in the academic world. As I told you in the first, education has been touched upon in the book, and education we feel is a very strong tool for
Yeah.
upliftment of the economy, and
True.
how people can get jobs. And so this the learning hall is one vehicle that we have created wherein we can engage with the academic space, and collaborate with be in touch with students, so that we can understand their academic elements, how, what suggestions, what changes can be brought about on the whole process. And also we can be in touch with academic institutes, wherein we can have again an exchange of information between on strategy, because the on strategic elements as well as on academic elements. So across the spectrum of academics, the learning hall can play a very strong role in influencing the academic landscape of the country. So put together, both the learning hall and the Idea Factory have some commonality in the form of teaching,
Mm-hmm.
training, consulting. So that's the entire genre of activities. The learning hall is focused on teaching, tutoring,
Mm-hmm.
and coaching. The Idea Factory on training and consulting. So across the spectrum, we are trying to operate, and the thought leadership is the overall thinking platform that we are talking about.
Interesting. just when you talk about the thought leadership, that it just struck me like, what exactly is this thought leadership movement, and what do you think are your thoughts for today's environment, particularly after this COVID situation and this new era that you're going in? And how do you think thought leadership movement would play a part in this time?
While I was writing the book, I was, in the end chapter, I tried to summarize it in the form of a thought leadership movement. But today, there's
Mm-hmm.
a better word that is coming to my mind, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
explain both the words. The first one is a cycle, which is a thought leadership cycle, which means that while we give out ideas, it goes out and makes a difference in the outside
Mm-hmm.
world, and that gives us a greater impetus, and the feedback gives us a greater impetus to create better and better ideas. So like an economy, like we know the economy is cyclical, which means the input goes out to the output, and the output is the input of another product. Similarly, thought leadership can also be considered to be a cyclical process wherein the input, which is starting point, is the idea, and then it goes, makes a difference. The output is the so there we have an unending flow of ideas in the system. Okay,
Okay.
and that makes it a thought leadership cycle. Okay, at the same time, that why have we mentioned it as a thought leadership movement? The thought that was going on in my mind is ideas can we can relate to anybody. Okay, with
Mm-hmm.
ideas we can connect to anybody, whether he is
Right.
working in the work, professional world, or whether he is a student, or whether he is also in the agrarian economy or whatever. With ideas we can connect to any world, and
Mm-hmm.
this idea is a powerful tool to add some value to his life. So once we add value, as more and more people connect with us in the whole process, this may
Yeah.
has the potential to be a movement in the near future, and this can cross borders. It is not, it may start as a national activity, but with ideas we can connect with anyone in the world. And tomorrow, if we take the example of say Facebook or LinkedIn, where most of us spend a lot of time on, these are tools with which anyone in one part of the world can connect to anyone in the outside part of the world, even with LinkedIn. So like this, today also, this thought leadership can actually help us get connected to anyone in the other side of the world, and the whole world can become connected through the power of ideas, and this can have a multiplier effect on the improvement of the not only the national economy, but also has a contributing effect on the other economies as well.
Wonderful. Nice. So yeah, there are so many interesting things to still talk about, Sabir, and I'm sure the readers who are reading the book would also have so many things to share with you and get to discuss with you such things. So, could you tell us how can the readers connect with you?
First of all, the starting point is to, a lot of ideas have already been given out. So maybe
Mhm.
the readers can connect with us through the ideas that are already given in the book. Okay. And if some of these ideas are useful to the readers, that is a great starting point. Okay.
Mm.
So that's a great starting point. And we are building an ecosystem in which these ideas can be implemented across various centers. Okay, because
Mhm.
ideas, you need a platform, or you need a connectivity to various worlds. So as we are trying to build the connectivity elements, so readers can reach us out through the social media, and our email IDs will also be given at the end of the video, so they can reach us either through the social media platforms or through the email IDs. And it would be great if some of these ideas that I've given out in the book are of use to them, and that can be a great starting point for further discussions with the readers.
Wonderful. Yeah. And finally, I just know that you're working on this other book already, and we are quite excited about it. Could you just share some details about it and what actually is it about?
As I told you at the beginning, all my
Mhm.
books will actually be on thought leadership.
Okay.
So, as you can understand, the name of the second book will also be Thought Leadership in India,
Mhm.
and India 2, Part 2. So, obviously, I will be scanning, I have started scanning the economy and
Mhm.
seeing what are the aspects. The first book was pre COVID, so hopefully, the
Yeah.
second book has just after COVID. So it will cover a lot of elements on the COVID part and what are the learnings that we have taken and what new things that we can. This is a good opportunity to tell how we can reset, the economy and how we can change our journeys
Right.
post COVID, which everybody is doing in any way.
Right. Right.
But maybe we can have a small role in, influencing the direction that people are taking. So we will be covering, or rather, I will be covering topics on the economy part, the government part, there will be case studies of the corporates and a little bit about the corporate professionals also. But the books will be better and better as we get more and more feedback from the readers, because that would go into the writing of the next book. So this book, as has been planned, is not a book on isolation. The
Okay.
book is an output which is in connection to the world, and if the readers connect with us, that will help me create better and better books in the near future. So that's the essence of the whole thing. Yeah, so that's
All
the
right.
essence of the book.
That is wonderful. I mean, it's just exhilarating to just hear all these things that you're talking about. I'm sure that considering what's going on around the world because of the COVID, everyone would be very much impacted positively by what you're going to share. And I also would encourage whomever is watching this video to share your thoughts and share your views and be free to connect with this and share your wonderful concepts as well. As Aber mentioned, this is going to be a co-creative work which would help tremendously the future generation and as well as our generation indeed. So thanks very much for your time, Aber. It's been quite informative and I found it very interesting. I'm sure the viewers would also have found it interesting. Thanks very much for your time. Um, if you would like to connect and know more about and what we do and learn more about our companies and the books particularly, you can find the details in the description below. So feel free to reach out to us and share.
Yeah, but
Uh,
before you close, I'll show a picture
yeah,
of the book so that
sure,
we can relate to the anything.
definitely.
Can this be seen?
Yeah, it's I can see it.
Right. Right. So
All
this
right.
is the book that we are talking of. The details of the book will be given in the lower part of the video. And if you make some sense of this book with both the videos, because the first video and this one, if both of them make sense to you, I'm sure we'll be happy to connect with you in the near future and uh, work collectively towards a better tomorrow.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.